What's going on, saints and inks, ladies and germs? Welcome to another episode of Lactic Acid. I'm your host, Dominique Smith. We have a familiar face on the show. She balled out so much so that I'm like one prediction away, as I just told her, from getting my prophet status. But no, she's a friend of the show. She is an All-American and is continuing to do great things on and off the track. Her name is Marlee Starliper, who needs no introduction, but that was a low-key one anyway. And it's summertime and she's not running, so this is definitely a W. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Lit. Okay, so I told you prior to that we were going to change up the question a little bit. Last time, so you being on the show, and this is a catch-up show, so the title of this episode will probably be Catching Up with Marlee. I asked you if you had to pick a superhero to describe who you are on the track, who would you roll with? And you said Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to do something a little different. So Ben and Jerry's, they've been paying attention to you and the remarkable season that you had. And they just said, you know what, Marlee, you are something special. You are someone that we want to do an ice cream promotion around. We want to center it around you to recap an awesome season. We want you to pick two flavors of ice cream, and we want you to give us the name of the promotion. What would the two flavors be, and what would the name of the promotion be?
Oh gosh. Okay, so are we talking? I like this question, even though it's challenging. So are we talking flavors of theirs that already exist,
It could
or
be flavors of theirs that exist, or it's a creative promotion. So if you have a flavor or flavors, plural, that you feel need to be inserted into the lineup, you are free to pick whatever you want.
All right, got it. So okay, that's good if I get to pick from two flavors. Because if it was just one, I don't know how I could answer that. But we definitely would need something chocolate, peanut buttery, banana, or something in there. Or similar. I know I love the Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey flavor, so something like that. But sometimes I add an extra peanut butter, so maybe that could be a thing. Um, and
Really?
the second, I love my go-to flavor for ice cream is like black raspberry chocolate chunk. I don't know why, but I think it's so good. So I would have to pick those two.
Okay, so I'm playing catch up here. Black raspberry chocolate chunk is something that I have never heard of. So is it like dark chocolate?
It's just like black raspberry ice cream with chocolate chunks in it. I guess maybe I know that because there's like a local ice cream place like in my hometown called Brewster's, which I actually went to like 3 days ago when I got that very ice cream and it was great. um, so maybe that's why it seems more normal to me. But yeah, black raspberry flavors are so good.
Black raspberry. I don't even know how you get a black raspberry. That's what I'm tripping up on. Like, so like,
We got
is it
some
like,
wild bushes growing in my backyard. My mom was picking
oh,
them the other day.
okay, so it goes down up there in Pennsylvania. So okay, so maybe that's okay. So I'm not even gonna ask any more questions because apparently that's a thing, and I'm not even mad at it. So okay, black raspberry chocolate chunk, and then chocolate peanut butter banana.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's the
So do
go-to.
you like do you like Reese's?
Oh yeah.
Okay, my girl. Love Reese's. So Reese's with a banana. Okay. No, that's something I kind of want to try. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's something that I would try. I'm a basic person, so all of these new flavors are intriguing to me. What
Wow.
are you
Okay.
what are you gonna name it?
Ooh. Oh, I don't know. I feel like it would have to be something like I just when I when I think of Ben and Jerry's, I just think of like when you put in a really hard training week, because I've done this on multiple occasions, when you're just like, you need something extra after a hard training week,
Yeah.
and I'll sit down on the couch with a pint of Ben and Jerry's, and then I'm like reborn the next day. So I don't know. It could be something like Marlee's like couch sitting series or something like
Marlee's couch sitting series. Oh boy. You've just hit something. I mean,
I just unlocked that key to recovery. There you go.
I was thinking, the first thing that I was thinking of was, I would call it the All-American.
Oh, well, I like that too, I gotta say.
But Marlee's couch sitting series, but that is yeah, but it's so inviting. And there's no shame in that. I like that. I was thinking, you said rebirth. So this, Lord, if this is blasphemy, forgive me. I was gonna say maybe you could call it born again.
Oh, hey, that's not bad either. Because seriously, there have been a few occasions where it has definitely had that effect.
Listen, I say this about fried chicken, that it's bad for the body, but good for the soul. And
Yep.
you can easily put ice cream into that category, because
Oh,
every
yeah.
now and then, after a hard day, some people drink beer, some people binge watch, some people eat ice cream. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. I like that. Black, what is it? Black chocolate raspberry?
Black raspberry chocolate chunk.
Black raspberry chocolate chunk. I am very intrigued by that. So
It's worth a
I'm
try
going,
for sure.
so
There's
what's going to happen
like
is,
this in stores.
no, I'm going to ask you the question, but as while you're answering, I will be looking up to see what avenue in Florida has. Let me write that down now, because no, this is interesting. Black raspberry chocolate chunk. Okay, so while I do the research on that in a minute, you
Uh-oh, you
had
froze up a little bit.
a what?
Just kidding. You froze up a little bit, but now you're back.
Okay, the power of editing. All right, you had a remarkable season, a up and down emotional season, I can only imagine. Because you got back into it, and then all of a sudden at the end, you started running like people owed you some money, and it all came together. No, for real. I was watching. They don't do a great job of showcasing distance races like when they're on ESPN, because every time it goes to commercial, at the laps where the moves get made, that's when it goes to commercial.
Oh,
And so I was watching, and I was like, okay. And obviously I root for friends of the show. And so I was like, okay, Marlee, she's up there, leader of the pack. You had Caitlin up there, and then there was, you, and then more of an NC State contingency, which you guys' squad runs deep. that
oh,
was
yeah.
that was the first thing that popped up. And then 3-4 laps go, we'll go to commercial. So they go to commercial, and then you're still there. I was like, oh snap, she about to do this, and you did it. What was this season like for you? We talked, it's funny, when you came on the show the first time, it was before the Riley relays, and you were talking about how excited you were, and now you're a freaking All-American. Kind of just takes us through the season that you had.
Yeah, well, it's so funny. I'm actually glad that you reminded me that whenever I last talked with you, it was right before Raleigh Relays. I'm pretty sure that was like either the first day or the day after that I got so sick that week.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Yes, the season started out on honestly the lowest note I probably could have imagined. Because yeah, I hardly ever get sick, but I got so sick that week. I ended up like I woke up that morning of the race and I was like, my body does not want to do this. I do not want to do this. So it really was like night and day from, how I anticipated it being. So yeah, it was a really tough start. And then after that, like I got back on my feet, recovered from the sickness, but then I just like got knocked down again another week and I was like missing all this training. So it was really hard because, emotionally that was difficult too with like, oh my gosh, like what's happening to my body, trying to figure it out. Like I got a few like tests done because I was like convinced it was like mono or something.
Mhm.
Like it was just really weird. But no, nothing came back, so it's still still a mystery, and it wasn't COVID. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was tough like rebounding from that, and it kind of like lingered. And I was like, I was originally, my coach was having me focus on the 15. But I think from like, I missed a few workouts, and they were like really important speed workouts, which takes longer for me to develop. I feel like I'm more suited on like, having a good base and like running off of strength. But yeah,
Mhm.
that definitely 15. And that was really difficult. Like I was getting really discouraged, and like physically, mentally, emotionally, like with all the ups and downs of that for those few weeks. It was really draining. And I struggled a lot, and I still was like, honestly, I was having trouble really enjoying my races. And again, it's like that is such a big thing to me of how much I love racing and how special that is. So it was really challenging. Like I came close to kind of giving up on my season because with all these things, it was really overwhelming, and I was just really struggling. And I'm like, man, like, I mean, I'm not even doing anything. Is this worth continuing? Like, do I just like get a big reset and like, then focus on the fall? Like, yeah, it was definitely very hard for me, but it was actually my dad that I honestly, like, we both felt like God really spoke through him, because he just like called me on the phone one day when I was like about to like throw in the towel on things, and he just really put things into perspective. Like, look, a lot of things have been happening this season, and I know you've been really struggling and it's not turning out how we thought it would, but like you're at least running, like you're physically, like, with your legs and everything, like you're not injured, like you're healthy, like you cannot take that for granted. And I was like, I was kind of disappointed in myself, realizing like, wow, like this is all I've wanted for years. And I was just getting so caught up in all these things that I'm like, I was missing just the miracle within all of it, which was that I'm running right now. And that really turned things around for me. I think I was able to get my mind in a much better place, and I still was, trying really hard. Again, at that point, we were still trying to run a few 1500s to get a mark for regionals. But that just, again, was not working. And then I just felt like God totally turned my season around when then my coach and I were like, okay, the 15's really not working. And that's okay. Let's just hop in the 5K for ACCs. And from there, like that was just night and day in terms of racing, because I just enjoyed it so much. And I think a big part of that was that, in the 5K, with it being a longer event, I definitely enjoy longer events like that. They're a little less stressful, especially in college. The 1500 is like a different animal, even compared to the mile. It's only 100-meter difference, but I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, being able to run the 5K and alongside a bunch of my teammates, that was just really awesome. And, thankfully I was able to get a mark for regionals in that. And then that just continued, like then at regionals, qualifying for nationals, and that was honestly so unexpected. Like I was going into it believing I had a shot, but when it actually happened alongside four of my other teammates, so five of us made it total in the same heat, like it was one of the most memorable races I've ever had. So things definitely, there was a lot of ups and downs, but I never would have guessed the season would end how it did, but it definitely was all just like an awesome journey that I felt like God took me on.
There's so little room for error in the 1500,
Mhm.
because if you mess up and you recover, then you hear the bell ringing and you have to get ready to kick. But the 5K, like I say, you just look so natural, at it. And you kind of answered the question that I was going to ask, like, did you expect to have the success that you did? But the answer is no. And that's always a good thing. Mentally, how were you able to, until you got that phone call from your dad, how were you able to withstand all the thoughts, all of the frustrations that you had to deal with?
Yeah, honestly, it really was just not easy for me. Like, um, it's just interesting because it's like it's a different type of struggle than when you're actually injured, because then it's like you're kind of battling with this thing that you wanted to get so badly, which is just being able to run and race. But like just then when you have to go through all the different mental challenges with that, it was really interesting because I was like, wow, this is almost harder than being
Mm.
injured. um but yeah, like I definitely, I'm sure I've said this before, but I definitely process things with like journaling a lot, and like just trying to really stay centered like spiritually. But that definitely was a very hard thing for me to do. And I'll be honest, like, I'm a pretty emotional person, and like, I mean, I want to be real, like there was so many just like mental breakdowns. Like it was just so hard for like all these different reasons. And just, yeah, honestly not even knowing what to do about it sometimes. Like there was a time when like I honestly would wake up in the morning, and like I think another thing is that like my emotions definitely kind of like affect me physically, probably like more so than most people. So there was some mornings where like again, like just mentally and emotionally being very overwhelmed, and like I would not even want to run. And like that's scary because obviously I love running. But like it just really got to that point. But honestly, I just feel like I just think of God's provision, and how I'm like, you know what? Like I don't even have a clear answer for like how I dealt with that. I'm like, all I can say is like I felt like God gave me enough each day, and that's always enough. So just continuing to trust in him and like persevering through it. Eventually you just see yourself on the other side.
That give us each day our daily bread has a
Hmm.
lot of weight when it's literally a day by day process. And no, I don't think it's weird. I mean, I'm learning this like with emotions, your body was not created to deal with stress, and the emotional toll takes a toll on you, like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So no, I definitely feel that. But what did you learn about yourself because you were able to bounce back? And you made an interesting point about what you were dealing with this year being harder than the previous couple of years. From an outsider's point of view, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's like at least you know why you weren't running, because you were getting hurt. Now it's like you're running, but now it's like anytime I try to progress, it's like, what in the world is going on? Um, and stuff like that, which, like you said, is harder. But, like to the original questions, what did you learn about yourself throughout this journey of a season, which is like God, I mean, if you ever wanted to put everything together and sell it into a series or go like Gilmore Girl style and have like the seasons, like the fall, the spring, the summer and stuff like that. Listen, I'm telling you, that's an NIL deal waiting. But yeah, what did you learn about yourself mentally through this process?
Yeah, I think, I feel like there was a lot that I learned. Um I think I definitely, in one sense, discovered, I think just another side of, the resiliency that, I'm thankfully that I feel like I have mentally. But again, I credit that to just my faith in God of
To the
like
Lord,
where
yeah.
that comes from. Um, but I think the other thing is like, I think it's like it's Des Linden. I just remember like, her advice to runners, she's like, just keep showing up. And I think I
Mhm.
really learned the power of that this season, because yeah, there were some days where like I really didn't want to. And that was something I had never experienced before, of like I literally don't even want to go to practice today. Like I feel like I can hardly do it. I think I really learned the power in like if you just keep showing up. Like
Yeah.
keep going and things are going to fall into place as if you stay patient with it and keep believing. So honestly, I think that was just a very big learning curve of like, even when I don't feel like doing things, like I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We'll get to the faith aspect a little bit more in just a second, but can you take me through that 5K race? Or actually, better yet, was there any race between ACCs and nationals where you were like, oh my Lord, is this happening? Like, there's this little thing from The Office where Michael Scott was like, it's happening. Oh my gosh, it's actually happening. Did you ever have that moment like when you were running?
Yeah. Well, I think because yeah, I guess the only race between ACCs and nationals was, regionals. And
Mm-hmm.
that was just like that moment, like, and even like I ran a huge PR that day, and I'm like, I have no idea where that came from. Like, if somebody would have told me, like, I think you can run like a time in the 15:30s, I'd be like, are you stupid? I'm like, no, have you seen my season? Like, I'm a mess. But I think that was when I was just like, oh my goodness, like, I didn't think that was in me. And it's like, well, shoot, well, okay, we got one more race at nationals, like, so what's left? Like, what else can I do there? Like, I, surprise myself once, like, let's do it again. What can happen?
What was it, like 15:37?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I can't imagine you asking somebody, are they stupid? Like
I know. I mean, if I said it, I would say it jokingly, like how I did just now.
yeah, and I was like, maybe foolish or thanks, JK, never mind. But I'm like, hey, bro, you stupid? What you doing? What's wrong with you? I will get to all that fun stuff in a minute. But there's one I've been wanting to ask this question for a minute, and it's very, very important. Um, who won that shop challenge that you told
Oh
me
my
about?
gosh, you remembered.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not my team. So, or like, I should explain. So yeah, our team does a chopped competition. We're split up. Our team is like literally like 30 girls. And we were split up into like 4 groups. I think my group was third, and I was so
Oof.
sad. I was so sad. But no, it was so much fun. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, that was tough to swallow third place.
So I'm sitting here when you told me about it, I'm like, that's y'all the first college that I've heard doing a chop challenge. And so I'm sitting here like waiting for it because you said a video or something was supposed to be released. So I'm like, a severe L either had to get caught or I just don't know where this video is.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's been made. I think they did that one year.
Okay.
And I do remember, no, our like assistant coach, who was a girl who used to be on the team with us. She had been filming, but I don't think it's put together yet, or because we haven't seen anything either. So
Oh boy. Oh boy.
hopefully it's still coming.
I hope so too, because I really want to see that. So what did you guys make?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, I'm trying to think. Everybody. Oh, that was a while ago.
That was a
Um.
hot minute, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Everybody. I'm trying to remember what our key ingredients were. I know that there was like chicken. There was some cheese, and there was like Oreo popcorn and like butter crackers. Um. Oh, what else was there? There was like a tiny melon. It was like, I don't know exactly what that was. And like
Ew.
radishes. I think those were probably almost all of them. So
That's enough.
basically, yeah. So with those, we had to make a main dish and then a dessert. So, everybody made, their own unique chicken dishes. Some people made like a fancy like mac and cheese like type thing with everything. Like, it was actually very impressive what everybody came up with. It was really fun. So we had the main dish and then a dessert, and everybody got extra creative with the desserts. We had on my team, some girls tried to make oh my gosh, I just blanked on what it's called, like meringue or like whatever,
Lemon
meringue.
meringue.
Yeah, something with that, but it was actually very good.
Y'all
Um,
making lemon meringue up there?
I was in charge of or helping more with the main dish. I was letting the dessert girls do their thing because I'm like, I don't know how to make that.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, it was impressive. Like everybody was so creative and they used their skills, so it was fun.
Oh my god. I mean, y'all cooking up there. That
Yeah,
is.
our team has a lot of good chefs.
Oh man, that is painful. I was so certain that you guys, that's why I cannot be labeled a prophet right now, because that's why
At least in the running sense.
in the running sense,
Yeah.
yes. I caught a couple L's at USA's. There was a few predictions that I nailed, and then there were some L's that I just can't bounce back from right now. But man, I would have loved to see that. Yeah, I was curious about that. So we discovered a bunch of things about Marlee. Like we came up with a name for your band.
Yes.
It was Joyful Sound, which I still hope happens.
Me too. Someday.
Someday. You told me that you had plant-like tendencies, which was something that I had never heard anyone explain before. But I'm curious, what new adventures have you been on since we last spoke, especially the outdoors?
Yeah, I feel like during the season, unfortunately, not all too many.
Oh no, it's impossible.
Yeah. But no, it was really fun because actually, well, of course, it was super fun being in Eugene for the week, and then I got a few days in Portland after that, and then I spent some time out west in like Flagstaff, so that was really fun getting to go on a few runs there and everything and a few adventures. But no, aside from that, other than like I said, the tendencies, I just need my vitamin D every day. Wherever I can find that, I'm happy.
Oh man.
But yeah, not too much honestly in the sense of like big adventures, but I have a dog named Haven, and I've kept her with me more in Raleigh for like, a month or so at a time, because she also just loves my parents and being in Pennsylvania. But I take her whenever like my parents and I like pass her off whenever we like places. But it's fun if like taking her on long walks or like taking her to the lake and stuff so she can swim. So that's another small little form of adventure that I can share with my little companion.
Aw, I don't have a dog, but that's nice. Um,
You should.
I should listen. The dog's expensive, especially like dog food. It's like, okay, one of us got to eat, and so and so it's like, okay, if I can't eat, then you can't eat. So I'm going to allow you to be with somebody who can properly feed you. That is not a part of the Lactic Acid Network yet, but one day I will get a dog. I will get a dog, a golden retriever,
Oh, good breed.
or one of what's that dog, a Shih Tzu or something like that.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those.
The ones that don't shed. Yeah, because that's just,
It's a
yeah,
lot.
one of those two. Those are the low key dogs, and pretty much the only reason I want to get a dog was for two reasons. Airbud was like the go-to back in the day. It was like the golden retriever who was the all-star basketball and football player,
I
and
think I
so
remember that, or I've
yeah,
heard of that.
yeah. And then I saw Marley and Me, and that low key
Yes.
changed my. I ain't never cried in a movie.
Come on, let's be honest here.
I have not cried in a movie. See, because I don't go to many movies, or I sit in the back, and then I can pass off tears as allergies. But or like dust or whatever. Like, y'all got the dust this movie theater. But no, that movie, I'm like, the dog gone. I'm like, dang. But um curious enough, what's your favorite place that you've been hiking? What's your favorite place that you've hiked, or favorite outdoor space that you've been to?
Hmm. Yeah, I actually for a few years growing up, my family and I lived in Phoenix, and I am so in love with Sedona. I love hiking in Sedona,
Okay.
but honestly, I've been to Northern California and like ran through the redwoods, and that
Ooh,
was incredible too. Those are both top of the list.
okay. And I have to say something that's very important. I found the black raspberry chocolate ice cream.
Yes. That's
And
awesome.
so I doubt you can see. Yeah, I just ordered it on Instacart, so it should be here tonight.
Heck yeah. We'll
So
have to
I
see that come.
am.
Can we get a live taste test?
Here's the thing. Everything is on my face. Everything is on my face. So it's like, if no, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
That's
I
okay.
mean,
I understand.
I can preview it, but like, what if Briars is watching and they're like, "What's wrong with our ice cream
Okay,
and stuff
I
like
see.
that?"
That
So
makes
for the culture, what was it like experiencing everything you did with your teammates this year? Because, like I said, you guys have a deep squad that seems very close off the track. Um, and then you all went. It was like pretty much like a family road trip to ACCs, to regionals, and then to nationals. Like, the squad runs deep.
yeah. Yeah, it was so cool because like, I mean, we had 5 girls in the 5K. But then in addition to that, like we had 5 other girls. I believe it was 2 in the 15, 2 in the 10K, and then a heptathlete. And it was just so awesome having that many NC State people in Eugene. And I mean, I can say the same even for like, all the people that made it to regionals. And
Yeah.
then like even that too, it was just such a big number. And it just was so fun that like we all just got to continue our seasons together. And again, like there I was, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm here. So I'm like, well, thank you. This is great. Like I'm very thankful to be here. But yeah, it was just so cool. And I think the coolest thing, too, just like especially I think regionals was my first real taste of it, where I was like, oh my goodness, like this is just so awesome to me because it's like this is what I came to NC State to do, which is to run with
Mm.
my teammates like that, and you share in like the celebration, and even just like knowing the different like challenges and setbacks that my other teammates like overcame, like it just makes that so special for each one of us. So it was just incredible. Like I'm just so happy that I got to finally experience that after not being able to for so long.
Does this like, oh, how do you ask this? Does the taste of success, the taste of W's that you've experienced, that's honest to God's truth, is it's not even success. It's like, I think I quoted it on the last episode. There's a song that's like, I get knocked down, but get up again.
Mhm.
And then it's like you get knocked down, but you get up. And so like you've turned the L's into straight W's, because the fact that you were like on the track bawling out is not even success to me. That's a win. That's a capital W, in my opinion. I know the moral police are like, oh, there are no moral victories. I was like, yeah, well, yes, there are.
Oh, yes, for sure. Couldn't agree more.
um, how does that motivate you for the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just truly so thankful just how, I just feel like I've been able to really appreciate God's purpose in like all the low moments because it just made, the W's, like you're saying, like all that much more incredible and precious. Um, but yeah, and that's I think the best part of it is like, with everything that happened prior, like early on in the season and then how it ended, and I'm just like, wow, like I just did not think I'd be capable. I didn't think a season would be capable of turning around like that for me. Um, but it just gets me so excited because I'm like, man, like when I, hopefully can avoid getting sick for nearly a month
Yes.
and
Oh
actually
my
string together
gosh.
more than 3 weeks of consistent workouts, I'm like, I am very excited to see what I can do when I do feel like I can just put in training more consistently, like how I've always known myself to. So I really can't wait. And honestly, just again with everything that I've experienced with all the challenges in the past, like I just enjoy, like, I mean, everything, all aspects of the training. Like I just enjoy it like even more, and it's just so awesome. So I just can't wait to keep going with it.
You strung that together in 3 weeks?
Well, I guess I meant that in the context of like with all the like little blips and stuff, and then like and then thrown in certain last minute races to qualify. Like, yeah, there really was only a few weeks where
Oh
I felt like
boy.
I was really able to like get in the zone and like consistently like have some good workouts. Like there were several weeks in there, but just yeah, between the sicknesses and all that, like there was definitely it was kind of choppy for most of the season. It was just at the very end that I felt like really, I mean thinking about it, I'm trying to think. I guess I really feel like after ACCs is when I got in my groove for training. So I really was like, that's the funny thing of like the timing of everything. Cause I'm like, oh my goodness, if I had one more month left in this season, I'm like,
Boy,
I would have been
listen,
very excited to keep going.
Marlee was about to pop a 14:59 in that 5K is what she's trying to say, like essentially. Wow. I try to follow as many seasons. There's so many athletes in this world. And so I know that like you had some 1500s and it was like, oh, she switched to the 5K. I was like, okay, hey, I ain't mad at it. She said she liked the 5K. And then like I said, the times just started dropping. But people never know what's going on behind the scenes. And so like, oh my gosh. That is like, here's what kind of W that is. That is making eggs in the microwave without it exploding.
Wow, your
Which,
memory is impeccable.
which I have to say, I found out is very possible.
Oh, good.
I found out is very possible. Yes, very possible. My memory is impeccable, not really, because I watched the first episode yesterday in preparation for today. So if you're talking about a 24-hour memory, then sure. But as far as
Yeah.
way back when, no, because there were some interesting, you gave some life hacks. You talked about how to finesse the system accurately. And, as we're headed, unfortunately, school is just around the corner for some folks. Um, Listen, get what you can. Have your mom and daddy get you some what they call them, doggy bags or Tupperware containers and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes, and like you said, finesse the system, get the extra fruit and make smoothies. And you talk about making pancakes and all that stuff. I'm just trying to tell you. And then the marinara out of a jar is a severe. So that's the one thing. When you told me you ate marinara out of a jar, did you warm it up or did you eat it cold turkey?
I definitely remember. I feel like it's funny. I know this has happened before, but I don't know why I remember very clearly doing that when I was like, you know, elementary school or something. But that was definitely like it was not even warm. I'm pretty sure I opened up the fridge and just ate it straight out of the jar. I'm talking like that could have been like fourth grade or something.
Oh boy.
It was good stuff. I don't know what to say.
Was it Rayo's?
Okay, probably not, but
Okay.
now my roommate, she introduced me to that and oh, it's so good. Now
And
that's like all I use.
listen, it changes. Have you tried the Alfredo sauce?
No, I
Listen,
should.
they have an Alfredo sauce that literally makes you feel like you're in Italy. Granted, I've never been to Italy, but it's the best Alfredo sauce I've ever had in my 28 years of
Oh my
existence on
goodness.
this planet. Yes.
I will definitely try it and I will let you know my review because
Please do.
now
Listen,
it's been hyped up.
the marinara sauce, listen, I put that on everything. I put it on rice, I put it on salmon. I think I said that. I put it on everything. Chicken, everything. It's I don't know. It's like addicting to me.
Yeah, it's all about
It's
the sauce. That's what makes a meal.
oh boy. Okay. We got a couple more questions, then we're going to get to the rapid fire, which I'm actually looking forward to because
I'm nervous.
it's yeah, I ain't gonna tell that lie. I was gonna say it's less pressure than the 5K, but you know. So now that you have the time off, what do you do to relax, to get away from money? and everything like that. I'm interested because I think there is in our society, it's like, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. But like I always say, even on the seventh day, the Lord, he rested. He took a nap. He was just like, okay, cool. It's done. Let me relax and rest. For you, away from running, back at, the PA, what does that look like?
Yeah, so it was actually really cool because like most of my time, like I took 2 weeks off, and most of that time I actually was, doing some traveling out west. So that was fun because then it's like, I get to like go on some hikes and just like,
Yeah.
hanging out with people there. So I definitely love doing that in my time off, just like getting to enjoy outside and be active and explore in, different ways that I may not have the time nor energy to during
Yeah.
so I definitely enjoyed that. But even just like, checking out new places or just like finding a new place. I've been reading like a fiend with all the travel and like, just not being in school. So definitely just like, pouring through different books. I just really just and I think the biggest thing too, just like really making the most of the extra time to spend it with other people. So, I like making plans with friends just to get out and like hang out with people more. But this is something else just really fun that I thought was really funny that just happened during the time that I was, taking a break from running. I'm very thankful for it too because it helped me fill some of my time. I like honestly hardly watch TV at all.
Okay.
But in a very suitable timing, I got into Stranger Things. So that has honestly been a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie.
So Thomas, so I see. I didn't watch the entire episode from yesterday, but I do remember. I think I asked you a question along the lines of if you could be in a TV show or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, you said that you would guest star in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, because
So
a
I
few
sense a
years
yeah.
back, I was really into that show.
So I sense a pattern here. Now I have to say I know nothing about. I've heard about Stranger Things. What is that? Like people swear by it. Is that like the? Is that no? That's What's the one with Jon Snow? Game of Thrones. That's not it.
Yeah, no, that's
Ooh,
different.
oh God. So that's an L. That is just being caught. May have to cut that out of the show. What in the world is Stranger Things?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just like it's cool because there's kind of like multiple storylines that happen at the same time, but it revolves around the same thing of there being this like alternate universe and this girl who has superpowers and like it is very cool, I must say. So yeah, I've definitely been enjoying that.
You actually, I do not really binge watch television shows. The one I have been binge watching is, and I think you actually might like this, it's a show called The Good Place. Um,
I don't know if I've heard of that or not.
it's on Netflix with Ted Danson, Kristen Bell, D'Arcy Camden, and it's about these these demons. They're architects, right? And so they create this fantasy place. He's this chief architect because he wanted to be involved with the human experience, but all these people have died, and so he customizes and custom makes this place um that is labeled as the good place, but is technically the bad place. And
Hmm.
so, long story short, these people, Kristen Bell is the smart one. She figures out his game, but there's a character by the name of Chidi who teaches ethics and morals, and he teaches them to do good. And so they teach others to do good, even though, long story short, they didn't end up in. They were trying to get to the good place. They found out they can't go to the good place, so they tried to help others get into the good place. Anyway, yes, in terms of an alternate universe, I low-key think you would like that.
Yeah.
Um, especially if you binge watch something like once a year.
Yeah.
Uh
Literally, yeah.
literally, because there is no time. Um, but Stranger Things, I always thought that was weird. But now that I'm watching television with alternative universe stuff, I might get into that. Might low-key.
Oh
What's the
yeah.
best book you Okay, okay. I'm gonna take you up on it. What's the best book you've read this summer?
Ooh, okay. I see this is well, it's gonna sound cheesy when I say it, except it was actually phenomenal. So I just a few days ago read the book Born to Run about like this like native tribe of like people in like Mexico. It was so inspiring. Like it was really, really awesome. And even just that, it was all a true story and everything too. Like it was just really cool. So I really enjoyed that. And I think it like, I don't know, it just brings to light like a lot of different sides to running and honestly just like the pure essence of it. So I felt like that was right up my alley. So I really enjoyed reading that. I would recommend it to anybody. It was super inspiring.
That book sounds familiar. I've heard of that book.
Pretty popular.
Um, wow. That is right up your alley, but it sounds like a really good book. People, yeah, I have heard of that book. And people tend to like it. That's like nice and refreshing when you can actually like read with no expectations or distractions and all of that stuff. So hey, I'm down with it. Got a couple more questions and then we're going to get into the hard stuff. Why does kindness matter to you?
Kindness. It matters to me because I just think it's everything from the little acts of kindness to the big acts of kindness. It's just things like that that can really work within people's hearts in a way that I think can change the world just with how the effect that can have in a person. Like you never know what effect it could have. So I think that's the magic and that's the power in it. And again, I see that just from the perspective of just being a believer, and it's like that's just sharing Jesus's love with people whether they know it to be that or not. But I just think it holds a lot of power, so that it holds a lot of meaning in very special ways.
How has it affected you?
I think it has affected me because I think it inspires me. Like when I see an act of kindness or when somebody does something for me, it just inspires me to do that more for others. I feel like, in that sense, it has a big ripple effect.
You would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I tend to like asking that question, especially in this world we live in, where kindness, there's either strings attached or people are just not. Kindness has become soft.
Mhm.
So it's obviously refreshing to hear that. How did your faith carry you through this? Is it safe to say it was kind of a difficult season?
Oh my goodness. The most I've ever had in all my life, for sure.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you. I can't even follow up. I'm gonna let you testify. How did it carry you? Because you mentioned that it was tested. Because you asked, "Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What steps should I take? What's going on?" But for you being a strong believer in faith and really looking to pour that into the world to share the hope that you have, how did it um, impact you, help you, and strengthen you along this difficult season of life?
Yeah. No, I think it was just really cool because, and again, like I'm very thankful that I think, I myself lost sight of this for a while, but then I think, it was my dad who encouraged me to really, see things from this perspective of like even when like obviously like through my running, like I just really want to be able to glorify God through it and just share how he's working within my life through it and just how I feel like I experience his presence through it. Um, but I think whenever, I was in those really low places where I'm like, wow, like it doesn't feel like I'm bringing him too much glory right now. Like I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I'm barely hanging on. Like it was hard like to make sense of that. Like, okay, so like what's really the purpose in this here? But then I think just like really trusting and believing inside that like yeah, this does not look like how I imagine it, but God's going to use it anyway. Even if it seems in small ways, like just trusting and believing that, like, whether it's something I can see now or that we're going to see in a much bigger picture and in, a larger span of time, like God's going to use it for his glory. And in this case, like, yeah, like I feel like you know, those low moments happened because then how God just turn things around and like I mean just staying trusting in him and like trusting like I said that he's going to give me enough to get through it and like and then just how I just felt like you know everything just went through the roof in a very awesome way from there. I just think it's really awesome like when you just really stay faithful to trusting that like God is going to use every piece of your journey for good. Even if it doesn't end like perfectly, just like there's always those good bits in there. So that's like and I really truly mean this, even if I didn't make it to regionals and if I didn't make it to nationals, like if my season ended at ACCs, which is where I definitely thought it would end, I still would have been just so thankful and just so just like fulfilled with the season that I had because I still finished it like as long as I could have. Like I didn't give up because I just came that close in just a few weeks prior to like ACCs and everything. So I definitely think it's just trusting in God's plan truly. And I know, everybody says that, but really just like seeing it through because you just never know how he can turn things around. And regardless, it's going to be filled with a lot of good things that are going to help you grow as a person. And that I think, anyone would be able to really, in their own unique ways, really appreciate like looking back on it.
Did having does having such a strong bond with, you obviously talked about your dad, but with your teammates and with your coaches, how did that kind of pull you through as well? Especially like I said, the squad runs deep at NC State.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you asking that because I think that was just a really cool thing too. Is like, like to some extent, I'm like, my teammates saw like how I was struggling, but in the same sense, I'm like, I tend to, when I'm really going through things, I also really tend to like shut down and kind of just like tuck myself away because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna make you see this mess. Um,
Yeah.
but I know, but they did definitely know that, to whatever extent, like I was struggling for a while, but it just means so much how like a bunch of my teammates, they just looked out for me and they would check up on me and like even just like my roommates like doing sweet things just to like make my day. Like it really means a lot. And on top of that too, like even the coaches, like I'm just so thankful for them like and I mean this seriously where I'm like I like they just never stopped believing in me and encouraging me, and I really am like I do not even know how they were able to just keep doing that because I it was hard for me to believe in myself most of the season, but they still just believed in me and encouraged me like I said, and that just meant the world. So yeah, that definitely meant a lot, and I just really credit others to getting me through this season for sure.
God, you said you did not say anything but a word because I'm the same way as you. Like you never want to. I don't know. I guess maybe it's our pride, but you never want to show weakness, essentially, because you never, like you said, want that to spill over onto somebody else, especially when you're all in like a struggle together. So felt that one.
Yeah.
Last question. What advice would you want to pass on to somebody who's going through what you're going through?
Hmm.
Or what, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what you went through. Ooh, let me put some respect on that.
Yeah.
What he brought you through. Yes.
Yeah. I definitely think I would just say like no matter what point in your journey that you're in, like just in every way that you can, just don't lose sight of where you get your joy and just stay focused and stay centered on that because I think that's always going to be enough to pull you through. And even when things aren't going how you hope to, like if you can still find the joy with wherever you're at, I just think that that is a really powerful thing. And I think that things will start to fall into place. And at the very least, there's going to be so much growth just like in your heart from that. So definitely just, yeah, keep
Ooh,
looking for those little joyful moments in it.
well, listen, that was supposed to be the last question, but you just said the J word, so I have to ask about
Oh
that. Where did you find, obviously we know that God, joy is like the epicenter of what you do, because now I'm thinking back to how we had that whole conversation when we first talked about joy. But where did you find that joy? Obviously in the Lord, but is there anything specific that he brought that gave you joy to help you keep going? And then
Man.
this is it. That's it. I promise.
Yeah. Well, I know it's such a funny question because it's like, oh, well, like where's it from? Well, it's like, well, yeah, the Lord. But I'm just like, when I think of it in the way of like, the ways that I feel like he has shown up, definitely, like I had said, I feel like, I have seen that show up in other people. Um, Honestly, again, whether it be just like a workout that went surprisingly well or a workout that I was about to like have a meltdown before, but I somehow made it through and then the joy comes after, or even just like, being out running entirely alone, but just like soaking in the scenery around me and just appreciating that I'm out in nature, like enjoying this movement. I feel like it's all those things that, yeah, it definitely just brings me a lot of joy and that I can just, sense God's presence in, and that always fills me up so much. And even like the sunlight, like that I need every day. Like, it's because that's just another thing where it's like, I just feel just like I'm just enjoying God's creation right now and soaking it all up.
So the little things. You find
Mm-hmm.
joy in the little things. So can we call you pastor, bishop, reverend, apostle, starliper? Which one did you prefer? Because I mean,
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I guess I've never been one for titles, so I mean, I'll just stick with Marlee, but whatever that
okay.
name
I'm
can
just
encompass.
I'm just saying, Pastor Marlee, she out here preaching today on this Friday. All
No.
right. Let me get my questions ready. Oh, some of these questions.
Oh yeah.
I went to a
Gotta get ready.
site. Yeah, I went to a site, and some of these questions are just really stupid. So we're not going to ask some of those. But do I need to explain what down the home stretch is, or you got it?
I think I got it.
The new champion is Val Constantine. Either her or Sage.
Ooh.
So let's just say both. Sage, Herta, one of them, both of them. So yeah, they're both the champions. So your goal is to beat their time. As always, if I ask you to elaborate on a question, or I'm sorry, or on an answer, it does not count against the time.
Okay. Oh wow. So this is legit, like rapid fire. Oh, I gotta
This
think
is
fast.
okay. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
What was your favorite subject in school?
English,
Okay. What is your favorite food?
apples.
Why apples?
I just literally every single day for as long as I can remember, like all grown up, I've just had an apple every single day. They're so
Okay.
good.
What kind of apple?
Pink Lady is probably my favorite, but
What
they,
does
huh?
what does that taste like?
It's just okay. It's a texture thing. They're just more crisp. They're crunchier and like
Okay.
a little bit tart, but still very sweet. They're perfect.
Okay. Because I'm looking, listen, I'm in the Apple game. I'm a Fuji brother and an Envy Apple. And so I just have to see. All right. What is your favorite kind of weather?
Sunny.
What is your favorite breakfast?
Uh, Oatmeal with banana and peanut butter.
Banana and peanut butter. I like
Yeah.
that. What subject would you like to learn more about?
Um, Holistic health.
Okay, explain that.
Like, it's funny. Like, my mom and sister have actually got into this a lot more. Like, even like certain herbal supplements and things like that, and just how incredible they can be with their natural healing properties. Definitely have been wanting to learn more about some of that stuff.
Okay.
I was taking a lot of them when I was like had that sickness. I'm like, okay, what can help me?
Hey, I ain't mad at it. Okay. I feel listen, it came from creation, so that's what won't he do it?
Exactly.
All right. What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
School of Rock.
What's the quote?
The first thing that came to my mind was when Jack Black, he's teaching this kid a handshake and it ends with let's rock today. With the little hand motion.
God, it's
I
been
sing along to everything in that. Like I got it down.
Dun, 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 dun. Was that the beat? Okay, I used to. Oh gosh, it's been so long since I watched that movie. If you could afford any car, which one would you drive?
Any convertible.
Any convertible. I like
Just
that.
anything with open air. It could be a Jeep.
What is your hidden talent?
I mean, I don't know if playing guitar, like I don't know if that's hidden. Should I name another one?
It's up to you.
I did teach myself how to juggle over quarantine.
Really?
I'm very out of practice, but yes.
That is okay. What never fails to make you laugh?
My dog.
Dogs are hilarious. We got a few more. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Running and faith and adventures.
What's the title?
Oh gosh, does this count as one of the rapid fire questions? It
No.
doesn't? Okay, so I can think for a second.
Yes. And you're winning right now. You're doing great.
Really? Oh
yes.
God, I want to win so bad now. Competitive side is kicking in.
I see that.
Oh gosh, see, I should really know this. Like what the title of my book would be.
Okay, so running, adventure, and faith.
I feel like it could be something called like spiritual steps or something.
Oh, girl, praise! I listen. That's Pastor Starliper on the other end. I'm trying to tell you.
I'll take it.
Pastor, okay. What dish do you cook best?
Power bowls. Like throwing everything in a bowl.
So it don't matter what's in it. You just call it a power bowl.
Everything's in it. That's why it's so good.
Okay, we won't even. Okay, I feel that. Okay, what is the last craft you made?
The last craft. I did a virtual paint night with one of my best friends. So we had mini canvases and I did like 3 of them in like a kind of ombre color thing and then put on like there's this one for King and Country song and I just love the phrase. It's like run wild, live free, love strong. So that's in my room now.
Okay, I like that. All right, 2 more questions. What has been your favorite age so far?
Ooh, 15.
Why?
I think that is when that was my sophomore year of high school. And I think that's when I really started to discover like, oh, I'm doing pretty well at this running thing. But I think it just was really incredible to me because that simultaneously was during a time when I really just grew in my relationship with God. So I just associate that whole age of like, that's when I really found myself for the first time. And of course that's been built upon tremendously, but that was a really special time.
15. Rock on. All right. What is your go-to lazy dinner?
Lazy dinner. Oh, you can't go wrong with a smoothie for dinner sometimes.
Yes, you can. You got to eat. Listen, what?
No, but I make hefty smoothies. Like hefty smoothies with a crap ton of granola. You can make it a meal. You can. It can be done if you do it right.
Okay. Can't you choke? like the you got these heavy granola bites that
eat
and you're trying.
Spoon.
Oh, I thought you
I make nice thick smoothies. That's why I'm like they're hefty because like I put a lot of good like hearty stuff in it and they get nice and thick like ice cream and then I just top it with the granola and it's great.
Oh, I'm thinking you try to drink it out of a straw. I'm like, okay, the granola's gonna get stuck in the
Oh,
straw. That's gonna
because if
hit the
it was
back of
like
your.
that, I would agree with you. I'm like, that's not dinner, but no, I make much more substantial.
Okay, you had to clarify for a brother because I was tripping. I'm like, I know. That's what's like, can't you choke and die off of a smoothie? Essentially, bonus question. What dish do you cook best?
What dish do I cook best? I mean, I already said the power bowls, but I feel like I can't do that. I make a really good pasta dish with like tomatoes and feta cheese as the sauce. It's really good.
That is like a fancy dish, but I forgot what it's called.
But the
But
I think if they called it like actually no, people should know this because I think they called it the TikTok pasta, even though I don't have TikTok. It showed up on Instagram as
oh,
do
you
all things.
yes.
But it's like the baked feta like pasta dish. It's really good.
I don't do TikTok. Lactic Acid had a TikTok and we deleted it and I left it for the little kids to deal with. Like you said, if it pops up on the gram, that's when I hear about it. So
Yes, exactly. I'm like, I can hardly keep up with Instagram. Like that's the only social media I use. I can't do anymore.
TikTok, we ain't about that. Marlee is the new champion of down the home stretch.
No way.
Yes. And so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have Lactic Acid. Let me just a shameless plug. We have merchandise now.
Yeah.
You get a t-shirt, you can get a water bottle, you can get a sticker, and you can get a phone case, an iPhone
Ooh.
case. I know. And so I'm going to get a mini, we're adding merchandise this month. And so the winners of it will receive something. It will probably be a sticker. And so you will receive the inaugural down the home stretch sticker with a big W on it.
That
So
sounds awesome to me. I am very
yes,
thankful.
yes, that is just as good as a trophy. So, which I can't afford right now. We're balling on the budget over here.
Stickers are even better because more people can see it. It's more, you can put it out there more. It's great.
That's true. And these stickers fit on your car, they fit on your wall, they fit on your computer. So the young kids tell me that they're a big deal, so that's why I had them made.
Yeah.
So
Slap it
yes,
on the laptop until you can't even see the case. Yes.
exactly. But that is actually when I tell you won, and it's not even close to be
Really?
honest with it. Yeah.
Wow. I was on top of my game this time, I guess. I think I needed some redemption from last time because those the questions last time were hard.
I thought were these harder?
No, I thought these were so much easier for me.
Okay. Well,
Me,
I
at
want to,
least.
for you at least, I want to give a shout out to teambuilding.com for providing
There you go.
the questions. Marlee, you said you're on Instagram. Where can the people find your journey? Because you're on Instagram and you have a blog too.
Yes, funny you mentioned that because literally earlier today I was finishing up. I'm about to put out 2 blog posts. There's part 1 and part 2. Just detailing some more things from my experiences this season. So got to hear a good amount of it here, but there'll be some more details in that too. So yeah, no, my Instagram's Marlee.Starliper. And yeah, marleestarliper.com is where you can find the blog or on the fan hub.
Yes, Fan Hub TF. Marlee and I work together for the company known as Fan Hub, your one-stop shop. Fan Hub TF, I'm sorry, the one-stop shop for everything track and field. You can see Marlee's adventure. She did a panel with some incredible women a couple of weeks ago. I think it was detailing Molly Huddle's book, her new book and everything. And so that's a panel you don't want to miss. I will make sure, because this will be a written article as well, so I will make sure to hyperlink Marlee's blogs in the article so you can check those out. And again, Lactic Acid, you can follow us, Lactic Acid _pod on Twitter, Don Smith _news on Twitter, and then Lactic Acid Podcast on Instagram. And be sure to follow the YouTube page, Lactic Acid with Dominique Smith. We're doing some incredible things with track talk, especially as worlds are ramping up. It is around the corner and it's Christmas in July. So make sure you listen to a Christmas song and hug a Christmas tree. Until next time, peace.